Hey guys, this is Adam. I'm gonna do another video talking about being awake. So last video I talked about understanding enlightenment. I guess I should say achieving enlightenment through understanding it intellectually with information and that kind of thing. And knowing it through experience. Well, as far as the experience goes, consider this. It's very important to meditate because meditation has been scientifically shown to improve brain function, to decrease stress, and a number of other health benefits. But in addition to that, you will realize things about yourself that you did not realize before, and come to a deeper understanding of who you are. So if you haven't meditated before, I think it's really important to try it. Just go sit in a quiet place and try to do one of the hardest things that is to do, and that is to stop thinking. Stop that constant chatter going on in your head of all these random thoughts that you are constantly talking to yourself. You know, we're walking down the street, we see someone talking to themselves out loud. We say that they're crazy. You do the exact same thing that person does every fucking day. Only you do it in your head. What makes you any more or less crazy than that person? Just because you keep it to yourself. That constant chatter, that constant dialogue you have going on, people believe that's them, and it's not. It's just your mind working overtime and confusing you. It's important to realize, and I'm aware I said this before, you cannot try to stop thinking. Because the moment you try to stop thinking, you will inevitably continue to be thinking. You have to realize there's nothing you can do about it and just let it go. And more importantly, you don't even have to get to the point where the constant chatter stops. You just have to realize that those thoughts and those words that are going off in your head are not you. You don't have to believe that those words that are constantly being told to you, and just observe them, laugh at them, recognize how ridiculous they are, watch them like clouds drifting by. Yeah, I was at the shopping mall the other day, and I can't believe what so-and-so said to me. She's such a da-da-da, she's this and that, and you know, I did so much stuff for her back in the day, and this just laugh at all of that nonsense. Don't believe a fucking word of it. Because what happens is that chatter goes off in your head. You believe it, and then it becomes a reality. That is how we create our own realities, whether we believe it or not. And you are creating your own reality, 100%. Once I get into the understanding through information part of the Being Awake series, I'll go more into how quantum physics explains this. We create our own reality all the time, whether we realize it or not. So it's more important that you start to realize and consciously start creating the reality that you want, rather than just letting it happen to you, without realizing that you're the one that's causing it. Now, the other thing that's important to discover when you're meditating is that you need to become aware of the way your body is functioning. How your breath is going in and out, your blood's pumping, your cells are moving, glands are working, all that whole process that's going on. You're not consciously aware of that. You're not deciding each pump of your heart. Okay, pump, 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 pump. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. It goes off on its own. So, who's controlling that process? That process of you growing, your blood pumping, you breathing, it's the same process as the grass growing outside, or the sun shining, or the rain falling. That's the process that the universe is doing. Like a wave in an ocean. I mean, if you really want to understand enlightenment and you really want to understand being awake, just listen to Alan Watts. Listen to everything Alan Watts has ever said, ever. And that's all you need to do. You don't have to listen to another word I say. Alan Watts, I mean, there's nobody that out of all the people and all the information that I've researched over these years, there's nobody that I believe 100% besides Alan Watts. He's the only person I agree with in entirety. At least as far everything that I've heard from him so far, which is quite a bit. So really, just listen to everything Alan Watts says and you'll understand. But beyond that, you have to understand that that is you doing all those things. You're the one shining the sun. You're the one growing the grass. You're the one blowing the wind. You are the one that is pumping your blood. You are the one that is breathing. Your conscious mind is not the one that's controlling that. Adam Bailey is not the one that is controlling my blood flow. Because, as I've said, Adam Bailey is just an aberration of the mind. It has no bearing or basis in reality. So when you realize that this process of life that's happening is happening through you, and as you, and with you, and with everything else that's alive, all things that are growing and pulsing and breathing, all that. That is the one entity, the one life that is happening. So you have to realize that when you see the plants and the animals and all the people and everything else in your reality, that's all one creature doing what it's doing. And you are simply a part of that. And we individualize our consciousness through the filter of our nervous system and have such a narrow vantage point from which to observe ourselves. But it's important that we have that particular perspective at this moment, because it allows us to come to the understanding of who we are. Or should I say the remembrance, the recognition of who we are. Those are some basic understandings or experiences of being awake.